Hey guys, welcome back to Puff It Loudum, and welcome back to Café Enchanté, and we are here again. I mean, we're at a tea party, I guess, and we're trying to learn more about the folks that are at this tea party, but it's a little difficult when they're just all so difficult to talk to. So let's just continue on. I had originally asked, or I guess the main character originally asked, what did she say? Oh yeah, she wanted to hear more about their relationships with her grandpa. So, let's see what they have to say.
おそらくは、ソーアン殿と我々の関係性、縁の深さがわからないのだろう。
Yes. Right. I really wanted to take my time and speak with everyone individually. To ask again, in greater detail, what they thought about Grandpa. Mizir and the others looked at each other and nodded. And they all began speaking in turn.
俺たちはそれぞれ立場も生まれも全く違うし、細かく説明するのは難しいんだけどね。でも前にも語った通り、ソーアンとこの場所が俺たちにとって唯一無二の存在。
そうだな。彼は我々の良き理解者で、かけがえのない友人であった。
ええ、ソーアンがいなければ私たちはきっと今ここにいることもなかったでしょう。
あのジジイのことだからな。あと100年は生きるかと思ってたぜ。
Lord. The four of them glanced to the same empty sea, just hoping to catch a glimpse of the shadow of their old friend. I began to understand why they were so fond of my grandfather and his cafe. One of a kind, invaluable. Of course they'd want to protect this place, the place that these people needed, the ones who thought so fondly of you. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear. That's what they thought of him. I felt so proud, knowing this person they admired was my own grandfather. I heard the dull thud of anxiety I held in my heart toward my hearts. I have 3 hearts like an octopus. I'm gonna restart that. I heard the dull thud of the anxiety I held in my heart towards these men falling out of my body and onto the ground. Though the air was filled with a solemn pause, the party continued.
なんだ、もう飲み物がねえな。
Ignis tosses the empty bottle once filled with a carbonated beverage, glancing around the room with an upset look on his face. I looked around as well, but it seemed we were out of all of the other drinks too.
あれ、コーヒーも切れちゃった？意外と足りなかったね。
Oh, well, let me go make some more. Or get some more. I'm not gonna make any coffee, I guess.
いや、この場ではあなたは客人。ゆっくりしてくれ。ここは我が。
No, that's exactly why I should go. You've all been treating me so very nicely. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't return the favor somehow.
何か私たちの待遇に不満がありましたか？
そうじゃねえってな。とにかく本人が行くっつってんだ。行かせてやれよ。その方がそいつも気兼ねしねえだろ。
うん。それもそっか。それじゃあことね、お願いしてもいいかな。
Although Kotone won't be able to carry nearly as much as they did, but yes, it would be my pleasure. I ask everyone what they'd like to drink, and I head outside. With just one step, the scenery around me suddenly reverted to what was everyday reality. I know I've experienced it before, but that really is so amazing. I look back. My gaze fixes itself on the ordinary-looking Café Enchanté. Grandpa's Café. To think this was a place non-humans visited. This cafe holds such an amazing secret. More than that, it's always been such a special, beloved place for those guests in particular. I'm sure I'll... Oh, first I have to go do some shopping. I was certain I'd have enough time to ponder these feelings inside after I did that. I focused myself on the present moment and tried to remember the directions to the nearby convenience store when... I noticed several cars, all painted black, parked in front of Enchanté. I don't think parking is allowed there. I had a bad feeling about this, but before I could get past the cars, a person got out of the car closest to me. It was a man whose fitted suit gave off the sense that he had no time to mess around. That suit, have I seen it somewhere before today?
失礼。淡木琴音さんですね。
Oh, God. Yes, and who are you?
私はこういうものです。
He hands me a business card. Also, I think his badge is the same as the other guys, but it looks like they have the Illuminati symbol on it, so, nervously, I take it and read what it says. Government's paranormalism measures? I've never heard of this company.
ガバメントパラノーマリズムメジャース。超常事象対策機関。通称 GPM。名前の通り、科学で説明できない存在への対処を任された
Oh
国家機関で
no.
す。その主な対象は魔法、超能力といった神秘の力、そして人間界に悪影響を及ぼす人外になります。
Supernatural phenomena, non-humans. After the surprise, it took me a moment to realize why they were talking to me about it. This is about Mizir and the others. These people also knew me by name. A government agency getting involved is a lot for me to take in.
ではまずこちらを。
I'm concerned with the flushed look on my face. The GPM agent took out an envelope and shoved it towards me. What is this?
公共事業用資産の買い取りに関する申し出証明書、そして資料の一式となります。
Oh, hell no. What?
現在この土地と家屋の相続権はあなたの両親にあります。なのでまず連絡を取って事情説明を。無論人外のことは伏せてください。なお今年度は譲渡所得から特別控除を受けることが可能です。詳しくは
Wait a moment.
何か疑問点でも。
It's that I don't know what's going on. Why are we talking about a purchase offer? What makes you think you can just talk?
勘違いしているようですが、あなたに拒否権はないんですよ。
Okay, bitch. A cold glance pierced through me. The lack of care in his words intimidated me, and I feel a shiver run down my spine.
課長も人が悪い。接触しておきながらろくな説明もしていないのか。
Of course, it was the fucking section chief. That's freaking great.
私から説明しましょう。言っておきますが、ごまかしなどが通じるとは思わないでください。あなたと喫茶アンシャンテにいる人外が接触した。その情報はすでに得ています。もちろん、この店を継ぐか否か、その判断をしている最中だということも。我々がこの店に抱く危惧は、滞在する人外だけではなく、店内に存在するゲートにも向いています。異世界へつながる扉というのは、あなたが考えているよりもはるかに危険なものです。
I'm already aware of that. I know there are dangerous beings out there that could possibly come through the
い
gate.
いえ、そんなに単純な話ではありませんよ。
Completely disregarding my words, the official began to challenge me.
この世界とは異なる法則が支配し、異なる生物が生息する世界との接触。それはそうたやすいものではない。例えるなら大航海時代に新たな大陸を発見した時と同様。ある。
He continued to rattle on monotonously, as if reading something from a manual. Whoa. Indeed, the existence of alternate worlds and their non-human inhabitants wasn't inherently bad. However, a mountain of worries could form if we were to come into contact with them. For example, if bacteria native to these worlds became to our own, it could potentially cause diseases incurable by modern science. We could be on the cusp of an awful pandemic. COVID-19. Anyway.
どうです？ 少しの可能性を考えただけでもあまりにも危険でしょう。そして我々が何より気にしているのは異世界に眠るさまざまな資源についてです。
Unknown materials, unknown resources. Imagine if there was a world that had gold or silver lying around as common as rocks. Trade with that world could throw the global economy here into chaos. There's war to consider too, rising tension between countries hoarding resources and those that desire them. After the GPM agent finishes talking about these terrifying cases, he glares at me.
異世界へつながる扉は間違いなく個人の手には余る存在。
So, you want me to just tell my parents to hand everything over to you and just walk away?
ええ、話が早くて助かります。これはあなたを守るためでもありますから。
Can I ask you one question?
どうぞ。
If everything's handed over to the GPM, what will happen to the cafe?
上層部と話し合うことになりますが、我々の厳重な管理下に置かれます。ゲートの破壊と移動は不可能ですから、この店を取り壊してゲートの周囲に新たに研究施設を建てることになるかと。
I see.
ご理解いただけたようで何よりです。それではこちらの書類を。
I wave away the papers he tries to give me, and a stunned look slowly appeared on his face as I quietly told him the following. Given that information, I refuse. I'd like you to leave the premises now.
何？どういうことです？ゲートがどれだけ危険なものか今の話で理解できなかったと。
His face twists in anger, and the GPM agent begins to raise his hand towards me. In the very next moment,
待て。
out of nowhere, another arm appeared just in time to grab the agent's hand. Canis!
まさかイグニスの洗礼を受けてなお懲りずに接触しに来るとはな。
何者だ？
何者かと言われると、あなたたちが言うところの危険な人外でしょうか。
あ？こいつさっき来たやつとは別のやつか。つうか俺たちを知らねえってことは GPM は GPM でも新人か？
Oh.
まあ何でもいいんじゃない？どっちにしろ俺たちにとってはお邪魔虫さんだよね。
They're about to get their asses whooped. Like, not them, but the GPM folks. Following Canis, the other three stepped forward to protect me. The agent brushed off Canis' hand, timid at the arrival of the group.
随分と様々なお題目を並べていたようだが、要はアンシャンテにあるゲートを自分たちの管理下に置きたいだけではないのか。
なんだと？
まあまあ下っ端くん、君の言ってることほぼ正しいよ。ゲートの危険性は俺たちも承知してるし。でも君さ、自分たちの都合いいようにちょっとお話持ってるよね。
I look at the agent. A fearful expression was now scrawled upon his face. Everyone here has already informed me. Non-humans have lived in the shadows of society for a very long time now. So that means gates like this have been around for quite a while too, right?
それは。
Il answered my question for the stuttering agent.
ゲートが危険なのは事実ですが、それが昔からここ以外にも世界各地に点在するのも事実。それをここのゲート一つだけで世界の終わりが始まるとでも言いたげに誤解させるのはいかがなものかと。それにその程度で影響を及ぼすのなら、とっくに人間界は滅んでいるはずでは。
After being berated by questions, the agent straightens his posture and speaks once more.
誤解を招く言い回しでしたが、我々のスタンスは変わりません。ゲートと人外は個人の手ではなく国家機関、つまりは我々の手で管理されるべきものだと。 我々は平和的な解決を望んでいます。どうか店を引き渡してもらえませんか。
平和的ってのはこんな小娘相手に高圧的な態度で交渉することを言ってんのか。それともてめえらの中じゃ武装した人員で周辺を封鎖した上で交渉するの平和的っつうのかよ。
Yes, Ignis! Speaking the truth, he's just spilling the tea. What?
気づかれていたか。
というかまあイグニスが殴っちゃったし、だいたいこうなるのは予想できるんじゃない？
Oh, the guests he fought with before were just people from the GPM then? The agent lets out a childish grunt as Ignis stares him down.
ならば
Oh my god, they all look the same! Run away! Several men in GPM uniforms came rushing in from the surrounding roads all at once.
随分と大勢だ。
最初からこっちで来いよ。そしたら話が早えってんだ。
Why are they all wearing fedoras?
やる気満々なのに統率感はないな。今回は彼の意思ではないっぽいね。
He?
アンシャンテにはもう一人常連客がいるのです。人間の、それも GPM 所属の者が。
Huh? Could that be... I'd completely forgotten to ask about him, but I thought it might be...
そこらの人外風情が多少集まったところで何もできまい。我々の管理下にないゲートなど見過ごすことはできん。よってこの喫茶店
Whoa!
我々が接収する。
Bro! Put the gun away! With his signal, the other agents ready their raw, intimidating metal objects. Weapons normally banned within Japan. Guns? I don't know much about guns, but I could guess that these weren't just for show. They were real weapons meant to kill people. The power of life and death in their hands. I felt sweat pour over my entire body as they pointed their weapons at me.
ことね、大丈夫ですよ。
How do you mean? Don't you see the guns? They have guns!
平気平気。彼らは対人外部隊だからさ。普通の銃とか銃弾じゃないんだよ。
Oh, are they like tranquilizers?
いや、通常のものより大口径だったり、貫通力に優れてたりするだけ。
Oh, this is just
人外っ
great.
て大抵人より硬いからね。
So it's like a cannon. If that's true, how can you just tell me that it's gonna be fine?
案ずるなことね。当たりたくなければ避ければいい。あるいは受け止めても問題ない。
I'm sorry, I have no idea what you mean. No normal can just do that. No normal person can just do that. I mean, why are they all so carefree at the fact we're so completely surrounded by loaded guns?
余裕ぶるのも今のうちだ。人外のお前たちは確かに耐久力に優れているかもしれん。だが普通の人間に流れ弾が飛来すればどうなるか、それくらいは理解できるだろう。
あらら、仮にも国家公務員でしょ君たち。か弱い一般市民に手を出していいわけ。
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
国家を甘く見るな。いざとなればお前たち程度どうとでもできるに決まっている。
What's that saying? All cops are bastards? Yeah, this is a good example of that.
さあ、これは警告だ。分かったらおとなしく抵抗をやめ。
へえ、抵抗ってのはこんな感じか。
うわっ、
All of a sudden, their fire alarms held by the GPM agents were glowing red. You could hear their hands begin to sizzle and their guns drop to the floor. Guns. Ignis watches, shrugging as a wry smile spreads across his face.
お、弾が暴発しなくてラッキーじゃねえか。ピンポイントで熱加えんの難しいんだぜ。
その姿、まさか重界ベスティアの。
おうや、ベスティアについて知ってんならあの世界の掟も聞いてるよな。強えやつは生きる、弱えやつは死ぬ。ま、要するにこうして向かってきた以上殺されても文句は言えねえよな。
As Ignis howls, while wild flames begin to envelop his entire body. He looks the same as when I first met him. He cheerfully jumps into the crowd of guns pointed directly at him.
おらおら、せいぜい頑張って抵抗しろよてめえら。俺に当てたら拳一風プレゼントしてやるよ。
Jumping into the swarm of agents, he grabbed, punched, kicked, and trampled over every enemy. Wow, people are just flying all over the place. She's reacting pretty calmly.
拳一風とは何でしょうね。
我も知らぬが、まあイグニスの言うことだ。深い意味はないのだろ
くそ、なんだこいつ。今まで捕獲した人外とはまるでこの化け物どもめ。
Leaving Ignis to rampage, the other agents aim their guns at us, pulling the trigger. Oh my god, so cool! Alright, sorry, I'm just fangirling over here. All of their bullets fell to the ground due to the giant sword Canis pulled out of thin air.
修練不足だ。
GPM の皆さん、やめておいた方が賢明ですよ。カヌスは手加減が下手ですから。
なはは、言えてるかも。
Oh god, beside Eel, who stood there peacefully, like magic, with a single finger. Nazir stops a bullet coming from another direction, and then allows it to fall to the ground. All I could do was just stand there, dumbfounded as the whirlwind of supernatural phenomena swirled around the space right in front of me.
さて、どうするお前たち。我に尻を叩かれたいと言うなら、急を据えてやらんこともない。もっとも、それほどの業の者がこの場にいればの話だがな。
Oh my god!
妖精、
Oh my god!
メリオの黒騎士。我が名はカヌス・エスパーだ。押して
Look at his sword! It's got chains! It's got chains around the bottom of the sword. That's how you know. Oh god. Oh god. As Canis stood there, intimidating the line of agents standing before him, an agent Ignis flung into the air came flying towards Canis, crashing down upon him. With all the weight, Canis' helmet, no, his entire head came off. Oh, look, you can see his head on the ground! What? The commotion around us vanished. In that moment, everyone there, friend or foe, stood in silence as they stared at his head, rolling across the ground.
イグニス、もう少し周囲の状況を確認してたな。
Yo! A shock, in the form of a shout, rose up from us as Canis lifts himself up and straightens his collar, which was devoid of anything.
後方不注意だぜ、カヌス。
He literally doesn't have a head! Sometimes called a Dullahan. I think I've heard of that. A Dullahan? He's literally a headless horseman kind of character.
一理あるか。ともかくだ。GPM の手勢たちよ。我が剣を恐れぬなら、かかってくるがよい。
I think they're afraid. Oh no! Oh god! This otherworldly battle continues. I was bewildered by everything going on about me as Mazir placed his hand on my shoulder.
あれ、そっか。琴音ってカヌスのあれ、見るの初めてだっけ？まあ、そのうち慣れる。
Will I, though? How do you date someone without a head? I suddenly noticed that out of the many GPM agents that arrived here, half of them were lying on the ground. It didn't seem like any of them had sustained any serious injuries. Still, it was a disaster zone.
さーて、下っ端くん、そろそろ諦めたらどう？俺たちに。っていうか、アンシャンテに手を出したら危ないってこと、これで十分分かったでしょ。
And we're gonna stop here. I mean, we kind of, like, we kind of saw that Canis had no head before, right? Did we see that in the trailer? Or did I just assume that he didn't have a head? I assumed as much because his helmet was glowing all the time, but I don't know. How do you date someone, like, how do you date half of these people? Well, I mean, like, no, you can date the other guys because at least they have a body. But Canis literally doesn't have a face? So, okay. Well, questions about Canis's life thereafter will happen in the next episode.